On January the 5th, 1969, in Canton, Ohio, Brian Hugh Warner was born. For those who don't know who Brian Hugh Warner is, it's none other than world famous rocker known as Marilyn Manson. Before he took on his famous alter ego as Marilyn Manson, as a child he attended his mother's Pentecostal church, although his father was a Catholic. From 1st grade to 10th grade, Brian attended Heritage Christian School in Ohio. The instructors there at Heritage Christian School tried to teach the students music they didn't supposed to listen to, but the music they didn't supposed to listen to was the music that interested Brian. He was very interested in that music that they was not supposed to listen to. He eventually transferred to Glen Oak High School in Ohio, where in 1987 he graduated. After relocating with his parents to Florida in 1990, he enrolled in Broward Community College, working on a degree in journalism. He gained experience by doing interviews with musicians and also writing articles for the music magazine, The 25th Parallel. Also in 1990, he joined forces with guitarist Scott Huteski to form a band. Brian and Scott went on to add a bassist named also Brian, but his name was Brian Tudenick, to the group. So it was a 3-man group at this point. And also, Brian Hugh Warner decided to take on the moniker of Marilyn Manson. And the 3-man group called themselves Marilyn Manson and the Spooky Crew. I stand corrected. After Brian Hugh Warner took on the moniker of Marilyn Manson, the 3-man group that had formed took on the moniker of Marilyn Manson and the Spooky Kids. I apologize for that. That's the name the band took on. Marilyn Manson and the Spooky Kids. Although there have been many and several members of this band over the years, those 3 original members that I gave you, Warner, Huteski, and Tudenick, were the original 3, and they created the first demo in 1990 for the band, Marilyn Manson and the Spooky Kids. An interesting thing about this band, they took on other names, just as Brian Warner did with his name, Marilyn Manson. The others took on other names as well, like guitarist Scott Huteski. He took on the name of Daisy Berkowitz. And bassist Brian Tudenick took on the alias of Olivia Newton-Bundy. The concept for names of the band members was to take the first name of a female sex symbol and the last name of a man serial killer, i.e. Marilyn as in Marilyn Monroe, and Manson as in Charles Manson. So that's the weird concept they came up with creating their names. Soon after the band created their first demo in 1990, bassist Brian Tudenick left the group and was replaced by bassist Brad Stewart, and his alias was Bridget, or his group band name became Bridget Guy. As I stated previous, this band over the years has had many members. And the only constant member in this band has been Brian Hugh Warner, better known as Marilyn Manson himself. Despite the changing lineup, they quickly developed a loyal fan base in the South Florida punk and hardcore music scene. They brought a great deal of shock value to their live performances, which included wearing female clothing or bizarre costumes, routinely featuring amateur pyrotechnics, naked women nailed to crucifixes, children locked in cages, butchered animal remains, and so on. In 1991, Marilyn Manson and the Spooky Kids signed a record deal with Sony Music. Although the deal by Sony was rescinded before the band had a chance to record any new music for the label, the band was able to take the money they received from the deal to create subsequent demos, and they released the demos independently. The group's name was shortened at this time as well, so they went from Marilyn Manson and the Spooky Kids to just plain and simple Marilyn Manson, which was the name of their lead singer and their most visible member and their most vocal member, Marilyn Manson. And from this point in the video, I would, even though Marilyn Manson is an individual and as well as the band's name, when I say Marilyn Manson, I'm going to be addressing the individual Marilyn Manson from this point on in the video. I just want to let y'all know. I'm not disregarding the band members, but this video is on just Marilyn Manson, the individual, and not the group. So from this point on, I would just be addressing the individual Marilyn Manson, the person, the lead singer of this group. FYI. In 1993, Trent Reznor, most famously from the group, the band 9 Inch Nails and other groups as well, signed Marilyn Manson to his record label called Nothing Records. Marilyn Manson's debut studio album was released in 1994 called Portrait of an American Family. Shortly after this album's release, Marilyn Manson went on a tirade criticizing his record label for lack of promotion of the debut studio album. Although Manson was unhappy with the promotion by the record label of this album, he did go on to release an EP of B-sides and remixes of the songs on this album. And that EP was called Smells Like Children. The EP Smells Like Children included a cover of the Eurythmics smash hit Sweet Dreams Are Made of This. In 1996, Manson released the album Antichrist Superstar, which featured the single The Beautiful People. In 1998, he released his album Mechanical Animals, which featured the hit The Dope Show. Manson's record label was disappointed at the lack of commercial success of this album, while Manson's longtime fans were calling Manson a sellout, saying that this album was full of radio-friendly songs. So he was getting it from all angles. In the year 2000, Manson released the album Hollywood, which was critically acclaimed, and it was regarded as his finest work. So it was highly acclaimed. Hollywood, 2000. In 2002, Manson had an international hit with a cover of a 1964 Motown singer Gloria Jones hit called Tainted Love. In 2003, Manson released his album The Golden Age of Grotesque. After the release of his album The Golden Age of Grotesque, Manson went on like a 3-year hiatus. In 2007, his album Eat Me, Drink Me was released. In 2009, Manson released his album The High End of Low. And this is the album he released. This is the last album on his record label that he had been on since he began. And he did not take the high road with this last album on his record label. He basically threw shots at them on this album and around this release of this last album for them. So he didn't at all take the high road. But 2009, High End of Low. In 2011, Manson signed to an independent British record label called Cooking Vinyl. In 2012, he released the album Born Villain with the song No Reflection. In 2015, he released commercially successful album The Pale Emperor. In 2017, he released his album Heaven Upside Down, which contained the single Kill For Me, which became his highest peaking song on the Billboard's traditional mainstream rock charts. In 2019, he released the single God's Gonna Cut You Down, which became his highest peaking song on the Hot Rock Song and Rock Digital Song charts. In 2020, he released the album We Are Chaos. In 2024, Manson toured with the heavy metal band Five Finger Death Punch. Also in 2024, Manson released 2 singles, As Slick as the Secrets Within and Raise the Red Flag. Marilyn Manson continues to move full steam ahead, and he's planning to headline a European tour in 2025. So look out for it. If you're in Europe or you'll be in Europe, look out for Marilyn Manson. I just wish Marilyn Manson all the best and continued blessings and light. And with that, I'm going to end the video right here. Please feel free to like, share. Please feel free to like, share, comment on this video. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. After subscribing, please click that little notification bell to be notified of any new uploads from the channel. With that, I am out. I thank you all for your support. I truly appreciate it. I hope to see you all in the next video. And right now, I would just say, peace. One love. Stay safe and continue to be blessed.